Hello, wealth builders, and welcome to today's episode of Coffee Table Conversations. As you know, we are now in tax season, and many of you have probably already started making the following statement. I am going to do this when I get my tax return, or I'm going to do this when I get my tax return. And so I wanted to spend a little time and talk to you about your conversation as it relates to what you are going to do with your tax return. Oftentimes we get into a cycle where we use our tax return to fix things or to get things that we otherwise may not have been able to get because the funds weren't there. But I would like to challenge you to this year do something different. And I want to get specific in terms of the actual tax return. And I want to talk about the habits that we create from doing things the same way year after year after year. And in developing those habits, in the long run, we end up hurting ourselves. So I'd like to talk about for folks that that are eligible for the earned income credit, or perhaps you have children and you're also eligible for the child tax credit. So you're eligible for that for a number of years. If you're a child, you can get it up to the age of 17 for your children, and if you have a child that's in college, you can go as high as the age of 24. But what happens is you get accustomed to getting a certain amount in your refund because of the number of children you have or the age of your children. And you depend on that income or that refund coming in. But at some point, your children are going to age out. And guess what? You'll no longer be eligible for that type of refund. But you've set yourself up in a way that you have grown dependent on that. So that's why this conversation today is so important. Because what I want you to do, or what I would suggest that you do, is when you get your refund this year, you want to get that refund and you want to take that and apply it towards your future. To make yourself comfortable in the future and not continue to make yourself dependent on income, or I should say refund, coming from the government. But create a different habit, a habit of leveraging unexpected income rather than depending on it. So I like to say this. I want you to change your conversation in terms of what can I do with my refund that will multiply it? What can I do with my refund that will enhance it? Or that will increase it 5-6 years down the road? That's the type of habit I would like for you to create. So, when you get your tax refund this week, well, I'm going to give you a challenge this week that I'd like for you to do. And I'd like for you to write down 3 things that you could use your refund that would increase your assets. So that would not include purchasing a vehicle. That would not include getting a new car. That would be maybe finding some type of stock that pays a dividend. Or maybe saying you're going to set that money aside because you want to use it as to purchase a house for cash. That you would like to purchase as an advancement so that you can get rental income from. Those are the type of things that I want you to think about. Those are things that are securing your future with your income tax return. Those are investments that you will not, well, I should say it like this. Those are investments that secures a financially free future for yourself. Depending on the earned income credit or depending on a child tax credit does not secure your financial future. And let's talk about mindset for a moment. You know, a lot of times with the earned income credit and the child tax credit, in order for you to be eligible for those credits, you have to fit within a certain income bracket before you begin to phase out. So if you make a certain amount of money, which most people don't realize this, you're not eligible for those credits. So how about if we change our mindset and say, I want to make the money where I'm not eligible for those type of credits? How about that? Because once you put yourself in a position where you want to be dependent on those type of credits, you know what you're doing? You're putting a limitation on yourself. A limitation. And I'm trying to get you as your coach, and I have a heart for you, and I want you to win. So I want you to take those limitations off and change your mindset of being eligible for these type of credits that limits your earning potential. Okay? And I want to hear from you. If you accept this challenge, I want you to email me at angelamitchell@debtnotallowed.com, and I want to hear what some of the ideas you came up with in terms of how you can leverage your tax return this season. And then what I'll do is next week I'll come back and we'll discuss some of those. Okay? So thank you for joining us in today's coffee table conversation. You can find me on debtnotallowed.com or on my YouTube channel, debtnotallowed.com, and on Facebook, DNA Financial Services. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. And remember, debt is not in your DNA. Bye. Money. I'm looking for committed people. In order to be successful in your financial freedom positioning journey, you have to be committed to the process.